Hello and welcome to more nerdy rodent geekery. Today I am having a quick look at StyleGAN3. You might already have seen a couple of videos that I've done using it. So yeah, that's what it does. It's an update from StyleGAN2, if you know what that is. But yes, there you go. Here it is, StyleGAN3. Now, I've actually done a little fork of the official implementation of StyleGAN3, put a few extra bits and pieces in there. But hey, okay. So what is going on in this video? So what's new in StyleGAN3? What can this new version do? What are the requirements? What are you going to need to do to get this running and start training your own stuff? How do you download the code? How do you set up your own little Python virtual environment? And a bit on dataset creation, getting help with commands and network training as well. And then finally onto the generating your images as well. And of course videos, everyone likes a good interpolated video, and very, very fancy and nice in this new one is a visualiser. So that's good. You can play around with your network in real time. I've also added some clip guided StyleGAN3 stuff in there as well from End Shepherd and Rivers Have Wings. So that's rather cool. And also a little bit of information on how you can do audio-reactive StyleGAN3. So let's dig in with what's new. What's new? Okay, here we are. We've got the abstract. What is new? Well, the resulting networks match the FID of StyleGAN2, but differ dramatically in their internal representations, and they are fully equivariant to translation and rotation, even at sub-pixel scales. Awesome. So basically, you can move them up and down and spin them around. Ooh, I like that. I like that. So if you're interested in the specific changes in this fork, basically quite simple. Saves images as JPEGs rather than PNGs during training. So in here, in your training runs, you get your output stuff, and they're JPEGs now instead of PNG. So you know that can get quite big if you've got loads and loads of PNG files in there. So that it just saves a little bit of disk space. Anyway, I have also added resume K image and augment P options in there. They're sort of already in there in the training loop, but I've just made them accessible by the command prompt anyway, so you can carry on. So if there's a training run there, for example, let's have a look at the snapshot. So 3096. So I could do minus resume K image 3096, and then whatever the augment was for the last one on that. We can have a quick look at the log. We can see down here. There we go. The augment was 0.241. So if I put those two in, that will carry on essentially from where it was before. So that's a nice option to have, isn't it? SG3 clip as well, which as mentioned is the End Shepherd and Rivers Have Wings collab. Just change that so you can run that locally. Lots of options in there. And I have also tested it with Lucid Sonic Dreams, my little fork there, and that works nicely too. So yeah, that's some cool stuff. So we've got the new rotations and the uppy downy, and it's compatible with the old StyleGAN2 ADA and StyleGAN2 ADA PyTorch as well. But as they do note here, running the old models on the StyleGAN3 will produce the same results, and to benefit from the new StyleGAN3 architecture, you will need to retrain. So if you've got the old StyleGAN2 ADA PyTorch and you want to have the new rotation and translation, you are going to have to start again from scratch with your nice new data set. So that's fine. But yeah, be aware. Yeah, that's fine. But you can do the resumes from the StyleGAN3. So if you've already trained one, that's fine. And they do have a number of pre-trained models here. So there you go. So if you want to train from some of those, then there you go. Loads of models for you to play with. But I will be showing you how to make them from scratch. So there we go. Requirements. Now you've got Ubuntu 20.04 here, of course, but as they mention in here, Windows should work. I think they say Windows works in here somewhere. Windows supported, but we recommend Linux for performance and compatibility reasons. Okay. 1 to 8 high-end NVIDIA GPUs with at least 12 gigabytes of memory. So yeah, obviously that depends on what sort of size image you're doing. If you're doing a 256 image, it's going to need a lot less VRAM than if you're doing a 1024 image. So yeah, watch out for that VRAM. You will need a lot of it. And of course, you will need the NVIDIA drivers and the NVIDIA CUDA toolkit to go along with your NVIDIA GPU. Now, I'm using Anaconda Individual Edition here, but you could use Miniconda as well, something like that for your virtual Python environment. And if you're doing training, then of course you will need a data set. You're going to need lots and lots of images. If you've got about 3,000 images, like I did in my test data set, then you can mirror them, and that'll give you about 6,000 images, so that's fine. If you've got more than 10,000 images, then you can probably get away with not mirroring, but hey, it's entirely up to you. So where are we now? How to download it? There you go. As easy as that. Git clone, and there's the URL. So you can go up here, and you're like code, and you're like copy that. There you go. So that's you just type git clone, and then you can paste that in, and there's the URL, and that will download it, everything for you. There's also other options there, SSH and the GitHub CLI, or you could just click download zip, download a zip file and unzip it. So yes, lots of different ways to download the code, but of course I like git clone. Don't forget to unzip it if you downloaded a zip, and then you can CD into your directory. There you go. So I of course have already downloaded it, so I'm just going to CD. There we go. Right, so now you will need your virtual Python environment. Now, thankfully enough, they have an environment YML file. So nothing really complicated to do at all here. You can just conda-env create -f environment.yml. Awesome. There you go. I, of course, have already done that, but what I haven't done is activated my conda environment, and there we go. So that's almost done it, apart from one thing they did miss, which was psutil. There we go. So pip install psutil, and that will install psutil. Of course, I have it already installed, but that seemed to be missing from the environment file. Fair enough. Okay, so dataset creation. Now, a couple of options for dataset creation. New in this is that you can just point it straight at an image directory. So if you've already got your dataset there, then no need to create the extra zip file. Apart from, they say it's probably faster if you do create the zip file. So I created the zip file. So you've still got dataset tool there, and yep, simple enough. You know, dataset tool, pass it the directory with all your images, and where are you going to put the zip file? So dataset is of course just a collection of images. So pop over here, dataset. And we've got a set of paintings that I used for this one. So there you go. So there's my data set for this. It's just got lots of paintings in it. So there you go. So there's the data set. That is about 3,000 images in that, 3716. So yeah, quite a few. But yeah, the more the merrier. If you've got 50,000 images, then brilliant. You can do it with that. So once you've got all that going, you might be a little bit confused about, well, what can I do with all these different things? Well, you can always stick -- help on the end of all of these, and it will show you what's going on. So let's just make this a bit bigger. So there's Python, whoops, dataset tool -help, and it gives you all this information. So here we are, usage, dataset tool, and options. Convert an image dataset into a dataset archive usable with StyleGAN2 ADA PyTorch. So they haven't updated that, but it's also usable with StyleGAN3, which is what we're looking at now. So here's all the information if you want class labels in there as well. So that and you can do that with any command in here. So for example, train, you can just do Python train, pop that in there, paste, do -help, and that will give you the same sort of stuff, but about training. So there you go, train again, and you got all the options and all what they do. And so yep. So if you're ever confused about what options you can put in things and what various different things do, just put -help on the end, and yeah, that will tell you what is going on. So now you've got your data set, you've got your images in your directory, you've zipped them all up, you've got your data set zip in there, and now you're ready to start training now, aren't you? Yeah? Okay. Now, the training command is pretty much exactly the same as StyleGAN2, apart from you've got these new configs, StyleGAN3R and StyleGAN3T as well. Otherwise, it is exactly the same. So there you've got your output directory. So that's training runs. So, whoops, there it is. So I've got my training runs there, doing that. And you got which config you're using. Now, before you used to have config auto, but most of the things are now set sort of individually. So no need to go in and sort of start making your own configs and stuff. You can pretty much throw everything in from the command line. Data is obviously the dataset you just created, so that one up there, wherever that zip file is that you saved. GPUs, I have 1, and then batch 32 and batch GPU 16. So this is, you probably want to keep the batch the same. So if you played with a guided diffusion and all those other things, you can sort of split things up into different batches, and that's the same sort of thing going on here. So the batch size is actually 32, but you're running 16 at once on your GPU, so it's doing 16 twice. So your batch GPU is going to have to be a multiple of that. Well, you know, you're gonna have to times that by 2 or 4 or whatever. As long as it fits into the batch size, then you can run that number on your batch GPU. That is the thing that sort of impacts your VRAM the most. So that on this particular run, I think took about 16 gig of VRAM. And that's for a 256 image. So I've got quite a high batch GPU. So if you're ever unsure, keep the batch size the same and just run your batch GPU down a lot. You probably maybe want to go as low as 2. I wouldn't go any lower than 2. If you have to go lower, you haven't got enough VRAM, and you'll probably have to either use a smaller data set such as 128 or just stick with training on Colab. So there you go, batch GPU, that's the thing that's going to affect all your VRAM usage the most. Mirror, as mentioned before, just sort of doubles the size of your data set if you've got a small data set, and it can survive reflection like faces can. Writing probably wouldn't be very good backwards, so I wouldn't put a mirror on things like writing. K-image 5000. Now you can train it up to 25,000 like they have done in the paper, but 5,000 is pretty reasonable. I'm only up to 3,000 at the moment, and they're looking all right. So they suggest 5,000, so I'm doing it for 5,000. That should take about 5 days on my 3090 with the 256 resolution and those particular settings. I'm not quite there yet. I'm only 4 days into training or so, but yes, no, I've been doing all these videos in between, so 5 days in total, but yeah, who knows when I'll actually get to that 5 days. Fortunately, with the resume, it'll all carry on, so you know which K image you're at. That's quite handy. Now, I've also turned metrics off there. So if you're used to StyleGAN3, then yes, turning the metrics off is fantastic. And in this particular case, you can even calculate them afterwards. Anyway, they've given a calc metric. So if you actually care about metrics, I don't, because I'm creating art. It's probably not going to look like much. Then that's fine. Now, there is also this training help.txt. So you've got the docs in there. So if you're ever confused, there's all sorts of things in there. So let's have a look at the training help. So there you go. So if you do happen to have 8 GPUs, then that's fine. You know, you can do all that sort of stuff there. And again, you know, all the options like you get with -help. So there's plenty of information there if you're getting stuck on training and all that sort of stuff. But eventually you will train. So you can come back. You've done it. You've been running your training. You've been getting your ticks, and this has got all the way through to K-image 5000. I've, as mentioned, only got up to 3096 at the moment, but now you've got your pickle. You've got your pickle. You can do things with it. You can do things with it, like generate images. Yeah. Okay. So let's generate some images, for example. So we got this. You pop that in there. Gen images. Now network is obviously the pre-trained network. So we'll pop that in there, and then the network we want is this latest one. There you go. That's fine. So network equals that. That's my pickle. And what do I want to do with this pickle? Well, you've got some options. You can use seeds. There you go. And the output directory as well. So let's just generate, it's about 100 images there. So let's pop that in there. And out saves. All right. Yeah, let's do that. Let's pop that in there as well. Okay. So that loads my faces pickle and goes through all the seeds. Generating. And then in my saves directory, so there's saves. There you go. I've got all these seeds. So here it is with all the painting. These paintings do not exist. None of these paintings are actually in my data set. These are all new paintings. I've just made 100 new paintings in a few seconds. There you go. There you go. So there's 100 of those. Anyway, as you can see, it is already quite good, even though it's not at the full 5K iterations yet. Now you can also do videos as well. Much the same thing. Python genvideo.py. Let's copy that in there. And minus network. Okay, we want this as well. Which network am I going to be using? I'm going to be using exactly the same one. So let's put that one in there. There we go. Paste. So what other options have we got in here? Well, we've got seeds, as you can see there, minus seed. You can also do a grid. It's got W frames and an output and all this sort of stuff. I'm not going to bother creating the grid, a 7x4, because that's quite big, but I'm just going to use some manual seeds here. Let's have, there we go. Let's have that one and that one. Whoops. Let's try and put a comma in there. And let's have that one as well. There. There we go. Oops, forgot to specify my output video there. Yeah, minus output. I'll call it video because I am good with names. There we go, video. And we just let that run for a few seconds. There we go. I now have a video. Let's close that down, have a look at the video. There you go, video. Whee! Now you can definitely see it does still need a little bit more training. We're sort of getting these loopy patterns, lots of circles, a little bit like if you've played with Deep Days, that had a lot of these circles, sort of gradient things going on. But yeah, not bad. Not bad. There you go. So that's generating interpolated videos. Now you've got this visualizer as well. Again, same sort of thing. Python visualizer. Copy. Whoops. Paste. Let's try and only paste it once though. Now you can run that and just select a network, but I'm going to pick a network here. There we go. We'll have that one. Thank you very much. There we go. Whoa! Look. We've got a GUI for doing things. We've got a GUI for doing things. This is probably the most fun part. You can resize it as well if you want to. Doesn't have to be full screen. Let's have it like that, shall we? Right. So pickle, obviously that's the pickle I've just chosen, and you've got latents here. So you can obviously use the plus and minus, go up and down through the latents. Go yeah, that's fine. But you've also got this nice drag bar here as well, so you can drag things around. Ooh, oh, look at that. It's got very GAN space vibes to it, hasn't it? Very GAN space vibes to it. Unfortunately, you can't save very much in here apart from an image. So you can save an image and you can save a snapshot of the GUI. But yeah, so this is for playing around with. And as you can see, there are absolutely loads and loads and loads of options. Now there's a little bit in here, the AVG Spectra, which is similar to this. So if you turn the FFT on, you'll get this extra bit over here. So you can see what's going on. And if we do the translation and rotation, so here's the new stuff, equivariance. Right, so you got this, you ready? So we can translate, well, I'll do a fast drag. There we go. I can move it left and right, up and down, all over the place. So this is the new bit. As you can see, there's some fun stuff over here. But there you go, that's the new bit. You can move it left and right, up and down, do all sorts of things with that, and the rotate as well. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Let's just reset those. So there you go. That's the new stuff. Equivariance, translation, and rotation. You can also play with all the layers. It's got all the different layers. So rather than the output, you can just have a look at that one, or you can just have a look at that one. You can get some more craziness going on there. I mean, you could just spend days just playing with the visualizer. You can normalize it if you want. Maybe you don't want RGB. You just want a particular channel. So there, I just want channel 11, please. Yeah, let's just have channel 11. There you go. Let's go back to RGB, shall we? Normalize output. So there you go. That's the visualizer. You can set the FPS in there as well. So you go 30. I don't want it so fast. VSync. If you've got an older card, you can force FP32. Separate process I couldn't actually get to work. It just sort of goes, hey, I'm going to launch a separate process, and then never actually launches a separate process, and there's an error that turns up. But yes, so I wouldn't bother with a separate process thing, but everything else Very, very cool. Truncation there, so you can change the PSI if you want. Drag that up and down, go really crazy. Let's go all the way up to 2. Yeah, yeah. You can drag it on the image as well. You can sort of click all these little things, and it seems to sort of save what you were doing. Haven't fully got, you know, into what's going on in this, so it's a little bit like saving frames. Let's just put a few more in there, and then when you click this one, it sort of goes through them, which is a little bit crazy. So I don't quite know what's going on there. Haven't figured that out yet. but you can do that with it anyway. You can do that with it. But yeah, for the most part, I've just been, you know, dragging things around and saving screenshots and, you know, changing the latent and doing the little style mixing and seeing how far out I can drag the translation just to make it really, really weird. And, you know, yeah. So that's the GUI. You get a GUI with it now. How awesome is that? That's days of fun right there. Days of fun right there. Anyway, that's the visualizer. Let's move off the visualizer slightly. So we've already been through a little bit of the new stuff you've got in here. So JPEGs instead of PNGs and the resumes. But we've also got this SG3 clip thing in here as well. Ooh, what's going on that? Well, this is the old N Shepherd rivers have wings thing. So let's do this, and same sort of thing. So minus network equals, and we'll put this network in. There we go. Copy, paste, and then what do we do with it? Well, you could just run it like that. You could just run it like that. There is default text, but yeah, you can set the text as well. So let's go -t, and we will have a woman with green hair. There you go. And we'll save that out as green hair.mp4. If I could spell green. There we go. So this'll use that thing you might have heard of, clip, to go through, have a little look at your pickle, and it'll go, hey, I'm going to try and make a woman with green hair. Now you get the loss down here, so you can see how close it's actually going to it. I only do 150 by default, but hey, there's lots of options. Again, if you remember from earlier, you can use that minus help, and that will show you what's going on. That makes its little video. So if we take that off, so instead, if we go minus help on this, that will give us various options. Help. Of course, I haven't written the help page quite as well as they have, but there you go. So help image using VQGAN clip. It's close. I should update that, shouldn't I? It's using StyleGAN, but never mind. Right, so the same sort of things in there. You know, you can select a CUDA device or steps or PSI, learning rate, number of cuts, the cut power, all that sort of stuff. So there's a few options, but let's have a look at that video. So you might have seen some of these online. So there she is with green hair. Yeah, that's definitely a woman with green hair. Yeah, there you go. Starts off green, goes greener. Awesome stuff, eh? Awesome stuff. Now, you can, of course, put these to music as well. You can put all of these to music. Ooh, how can you do that? Well, it's Lucid Sonic Dreams, isn't it? It's Lucid Sonic Dreams. Remember how it's all compatible and stuff? Yeah, so your old StyleGAN2 stuff, a lot of that will work with StyleGAN3 as well. Ooh, exciting. So the only thing I changed in here was just in main.py. There are a couple of places where it says StyleGAN2, like there, for example, sys path append StyleGAN2. Okay, and instead of doing that, Lucid Sonic Dreams, I'll link it to StyleGAN3 instead. Or if you don't want to change any code at all, just change your link to point to StyleGAN3 rather than StyleGAN2, and that will work without any code changes. There you go. So that's pretty much covered everything. So you got a whole load of things there. You know what to do. You can download it. You can set up your virtual Python environment. You can create your own data set. You can train your network. You can generate images, videos. You can explore it with that fantastic visualizer. You can guide videos with clip, and you can even create audio reactive things as well. Whoa, how about that? So there you go. StyleGAN3 from NVIDIA. Absolutely fantastic. Go and have a play. Rodent out for now.